Welcome back to another shipbuilding guide video, guys. So in this one I'm going to be showing you how to make a cabin for a ship like this one. So to begin with, you can form the basic sort of shape for the cabin. So begin obviously at the back here and begin to shape the cabin. So I use the replacer tool a lot for this stage, because usually you just have to replace a few blocks, as I'm showing here, as I'm doing there. You can form the side, so it doesn't have to be perfect at this stage. You can refer back to your original plan, but if you haven't planned the cabin, it doesn't really matter, because I found that I usually change my plan anyway. So something like that on the side, so a set of windows, a floor there, and then a roof here. You can just fill that in. You can make it slightly 3D if you want. So back to this point, and then you can just fill that in. Whoops. Just like that. Then just plan for the deck slightly there. So something like that, and then obviously WorldEdit it, copy it over with WorldEdit, and you'll reach a stage like this one. So from here you can now just get some gold. So choose a block that stands out. I'm choosing gold for this case, and I'm just going to create the border for the cabins. Again, using the replacer tool. Save some time. Okay, so that's first border, and then I'm actually going to plan for a section here. So I'm splitting those two sections. In this section I want a coat of arms, a large coat of arms. Obviously this will depend on the type of ship that you're making. For this example, Dutch ship of the line, they used to have a large sort of coat of arms that covered 2 decks there, and we want a window section here. So if I get some sandstone, can add another layer here. Again, try and use blocks that complement each other. And let's get some acacia stairs. Make sure you add a lot of detail to this, as much as possible. At this stage, you just want to make a basic plan for the decks now, and then you can add things like depth and sort of minor details a bit later on. So the first layer fences, well, the first layer stairs there, then fences, and I'm sectioning off the this deck here. Get some glass, obviously, and then another section of sandstone. So I'm using jungle wood and sandstone, which works well together, and acacia wood, which works well with those 2 blocks as well. So that's a basic plan. Obviously use WorldEdit to copy it over. You can do the same thing for this area. So making the border once again, maybe modifying this a bit, cut this off, whoops. Okay, the roof's gonna go there, so let's do that. Let's get some acacia wood back. Smooth sandstone. So it does take quite a while to perfect this stage. So stairs at the bottom. I always try and repeat the same technique across the cabin, just to keep it sort of neat. Let's get some jungle wood back. And obviously this technique can be used on any type of ship, but obviously this sort of cabin will only be used on ships similar to this one. So let's lower the roof a bit. That looks a bit high there. Something like that, and then put some glass in there to form a window, and Let's do the same over here, so smaller window on this one. Okay, and lower that. So just a very basic plan at this stage. I'll just get some spruce. Okay, so adding a slight amount of depth, and then you can actually use cobble walls to add a little bit more, and let's just put some sandstone like that. So very basic plan at this stage, not too much depth added yet, but once you've sort of finalised that, you've copied it over using WorldEdit, you'll get to a stage like this. You can see I've neatened that up quite a lot. So from here you can now begin to add the final detail and the depth to the cabins. So if I get some stone bricks, you can see that I'm now going to add some supports, so every few blocks like that. That's uneven there. Yeah, just take a while to perfect this. And you can do the same on the side. You can see I'm connecting this one to the wall there. Okay, and you can do the same up here, perhaps like that. Or you can actually sort of align them with those posts and do something like that. I think that looks okay. You can be quite creative with this. I'm actually going to use signs now to add some detail. So I'm just going to connect them onto the sandstone like that. So just like that, and then you can do the same at the bottom, and you can use things like wire hooks, so add even more, just like that, to every other block down there. Okay, so I suppose I'll now make the coat of arms. So grab some blocks which complement each other. So let's say iron. Some stone slabs, and I think I used sandstone for the finished one. So something like that, and yeah, I'm going to form something that resembles a coat of arms. Obviously, I don't have enough blocks to do it, to form a proper shield, so I'm just going to form something that looks similar to one, basically. Okay, something like that. Maybe mix the blocks up a bit. I don't like that. Yeah, something like that. And then you can add something like a button to the middle. And where did I put that? Tripwire hook and something like that on the side. And then for the final one, for this ship, I actually chose to form something that resembles a line. Obviously, yeah, I have to form it with slabs and things, so it's not going to look too much like a line. But I think that's the best I could do in that case. Perhaps move the head bit there. Okay, so something like that, and then repeat that onto the other side. You can do a similar sort of thing on the side. I actually like to use gates, and if I grab beacon, and actually use beacons like this one to add more detail and obviously some light into the cabin. I like to use gates like that as well, and you can actually use glowstone and walls like this to create some basic lamps on the back of the cabin. So after it's all finalised, you'll reach a stage like this. You can see I've just coated the glowstone in things like trapdoors. I've sort of perfected the detail. I've just continued to add things like open gates, buttons, fences. You know, I've just added more detail, and I've obviously tried to make it I've obviously tried to add as much detail and depth as possible. Depth is really important. It's often, if you just have it perfectly flat, if you don't have anything sticking out, it just ends up looking boring and poorly detailed. So that's a ship of the line. I hope that little tutorial, I hope you learned from that little tutorial. I know it is difficult to make a tutorial for this sort of thing, because I end up making a totally different cabin on every ship. But yeah, it's a little guide. It's not really, well, it's not really a tutorial, but here's the yacht example. So it's similar. You can see I'm using sort of slabs on the bottom, which are one block forward from the main layer. So sort of multiple depths here. I usually go for a 2-block depth just to give me enough room, and then sort of different types of colours as well, so iron, acacia wood and sandstone, and same sort of technique for the back. So I like to keep a common scheme. Okay, this is the float cabin. As I was saying, every cabin is sort of totally different, so it is difficult to make a tutorial for this sort of thing. But I hope this is giving you a good idea of how to create your own. It's just good to be as creative as possible. Don't sort of try and go for realism for cabins like this. You'll end up just making it boring. At least that's what I found. I end up just making it very simplistic, and yeah, it just doesn't look anywhere near as good as something that is unrealistic but creative. So that's the final example. I've actually, to fit the I forgot what this is called, this pole that connects to the rudder, I've actually created a hole here with a boarded hole which connects to the cabin there. So it's something to consider if your ship's anything like that. So again, I hope you've learnt from this guide, guys, and as usual, I'll leave you with I'll leave a download for this world in the description, and I'll leave you now with a slideshow of example pictures. So again, as usual, thanks for watching.